3, Episode 11, we see Megumi open his domain, named Chimera Shadow Garden. To counter this, Reggie uses a technique called Hollow Wicker Basket, which is basically used to cancel out any domain and counter the opponent's guaranteed hit. However, he is surprised to see that Megumi's frogs can still catch him. Actually, Reggie's technique cannot cancel out the Cursed Technique itself. Instead, it neutralizes the internal barrier. Because of this, it could counter a guaranteed hit. But here Megumi has used the gymnasium itself as the physical basis for his domain, so there is no guaranteed hit effect inside. This means Megumi's attacks won't stop within this domain. And that's exactly what happens. Megumi gives Reggie a proper beating. Reggie doesn't give up and tries to dodge, but Megumi uses his domain to create clones and catches Reggie, pummeling him. Reggie tries hard to fight back but can't do anything. After being beaten for a while, Reggie realizes that this domain has no guaranteed hit effect. He also thinks that if Megumi summons his max elephant inside this domain and it sprays water from its trunk, his chances of survival will end. Actually, if the paper receipts on Reggie's body get wet, he won't be able to use them, and without them he couldn't survive here. Therefore he decides to act before Megumi can summon Max Elephant. He summons 3 cars inside the domain. Because of this, Megumi, who had been moving freely in his domain, suddenly falls to his knees. Reggie says, "The shadows inside your domain are continuously trying to suck me in. To avoid that, I have to constantly apply cursed energy to my feet, and there are shadows everywhere in this domain." He mentions noticing that Megumi has been fighting with only one weapon, which could mean 2 things. First, that the storage capacity within this domain is very low, or second, that you have to bear the weight of whatever is inside your shadow yourself. And if this is true, I have used your domain against you. These 3 cars I summoned weigh a total of 2.4 tons. He says he will keep adding more weight until Megumi is crushed to death inside his own domain. Megumi smiles and says, "You're forgetting that this is a domain. Even if it's incomplete, if there are shadows below you, there are shadows above as well." Saying this, he summons Max Elephant directly above Reggie and says, "Let's see who gets crushed first." Reggie somehow manages to stop the elephant using both hands, but he keeps sinking under the pressure. We see that Megumi is also struggling significantly, continuously focusing cursed energy into his body, especially his legs. On the other side, Reggie can't handle the weight either, and the bone in his ankle snaps. Both are in a situation where they could be crushed to death at any moment. Reggie realizes he made a mistake. He had trucks available but only summoned cars. If he had used trucks, Megumi would have been crushed by now. Moreover, some water splashes on him, soaking his paper receipts so he can't use them. However, he still has a trump card, and is 100% sure that if he uses it, Megumi will easily die. But he also fears that if Megumi dies, he might get permanently trapped inside the domain. Reggie carefully observes the shadows to see what is inside them, as they look like a liquid. He wonders if he'll even be able to breathe inside. Having no other options, he decides to use his trump card right now. He pulls out a receipt and is about to use it, but he delays. Megumi pulls him into his shadow at the last moment. Reggie realizes he was too slow. There is no air to breathe inside and he can't even swim. He just keeps sinking and starts losing consciousness. Megumi, above, thinks he just needs to wait a bit longer. As soon as Reggie dies, he will close the domain and eject all objects from his shadow. But suddenly, a car emerges from the shadow onto the surface with Reggie on top. He has somehow survived. This adds even more weight onto Megumi. Reggie says, "Whatever I create disappears after I give the command. While I was sinking, I commanded the car to take me to the surface." Reggie admits Megumi is very strong but claims he is stronger. He pulls out a receipt, his trump card, and this time he summons an entire house. Its weight is far greater than the combined weight of cars or trucks. Megumi has no other option to escape. If this house falls on him, it's over. But before the house hits him, Megumi grabs Reggie and pulls him into the shadow with him, trying to choke him. Reggie thinks, "Wait, am I in the shadow again?" But he immediately realizes this isn't a shadow, it's actual water this time, and he starts drowning again. Actually, what happened was that when Reggie summoned the house and it was about to fall on Megumi, Megumi closed his domain at that exact moment. Since there was a swimming pool on the floor below this gymnasium, they both crash down into the pool. After a while, both come out of the pool, but Reggie can no longer use a single paper receipt because they are all wet. Megumi knew this very well from the start, which is why he chose this location for the fight. Reggie bets that Megumi can't summon any Shikigami now either. Am I right? Megumi says yes, but adds that he won't need any Shikigami to defeat him. After this, hand-to-hand combat starts between them. They have a good battle for a while, but suddenly, in the middle of the fight, Reggie's left side is slashed. We see that Megumi's divine dog had jumped in and torn through Reggie. Megumi asks, "What did you think? That my divine dog would be so weak it could be stopped by just 2 knives?" This means Megumi had been bluffing earlier. Reggie says, "All these sorcerers are just liars." Saying this, he falls to the floor, covered in blood. Finally, he accepts defeat. Megumi asks, "What is your relationship with Tengen? How do you know him?" Reggie says in a weak voice, "Tengen, he is still alive?" Megumi remembers that according to Reggie, whatever Tengen claimed about the Culling game was a bluff, and Kenjaku's real goal is something else. He thinks maybe Kenjaku and Tengen are secretly connected and both are lying about their goals. But seeing Reggie's reaction, the chances of this seem low. Suddenly, Reggie calls Kogane and tells it to give all his points to Megumi. Confused, Megumi asks, "Why are you doing this?" Reggie says, "Just consider it me doing something good before I die. I don't know what Kenjaku is plotting, but these points will be useful to you." Saying this, he passes away. The scene then shifts to the fight between Hazunoki and Takaba, where Hazunoki is very angry. He can't even touch Takaba, because his body is covered in something like oil. Hazunoki thinks, "I attacked him many times with my blasts, but why isn't he taking damage? Even his initial injury has healed, yet I haven't seen him use reversed Cursed Technique. How is he doing this?" Just then, Hazunoki's Kogane arrives and announces that Reggie is dead. Hearing this, Hazunoki is shocked and leaves the fight to go home. Takaba immediately asks, "What happened?" Hazunoki says, "I have no reason to fight anymore, so I'm going home." Hearing this, Takaba first says, "Okay, bye-bye, take care. Take a bath and don't forget to brush." But then he remembers Megumi told him to collect points. He runs after him saying, brother, give me all your points." But Hazunoki ignores him and continues walking. Here we learn about Takaba's Cursed Technique, which is incredibly OP and simple. His Cursed Technique is called Comedian. Anything he finds funny becomes reality, no matter what. For example, if he thinks it would be funny if someone's head fell off, their head will fall off. No exceptions, regardless of who it is. That's how OP his power is, but the problem is that Takaba himself doesn't know what his Cursed Technique is or how it works. After this, we see Megumi and his divine dog about to kill the girl Remi. But suddenly, Megumi hears a voice saying "Don't, Megumi," which belongs to his sister. His sister isn't there, but he hears the voice. Hearing this, Megumi leaves her and walks away. However, he is so exhausted from this battle that he faints after walking just a short distance. Just then, Angel, the one they were searching for, makes an entry. Angel is actually a boy, but is currently in a girl's body. The scene then shifts to another colony, named Sendai Colony. Like the other colonies, there are some very powerful sorcerers here with many points. The one at the very top is named Dhruv Lakdawala. You heard that right? That is exactly his name. He has the highest points in this colony, with 91. He is an old sorcerer who has 2 Shikigami. After him, there are 2 more sorcerers, Ryu Ishigori with 77 points, and a girl named Takako with 70 points, who can manipulate the sky using her Cursed Technique. Besides them, there is another player who isn't a sorcerer but a cursed spirit that looks like a cockroach, with 54 points. Not only that, it is a special grade cursed spirit. All 4 are very strong, but they don't get along. Therefore, unlike other colonies, they have no alliance and live solo. However, they have divided the colony into 4 different areas and were living happily by killing weak sorcerers in their respective areas. But one day, someone enters this colony and kills the strongest person, Dhruv Lakdawala. That sorcerer is none other than Yuta Okkotsu, who is currently in Sendai Colony and already has 35 points. With this, the episode ends here. In the next episode, we will see the fight between Yuta and the remaining 3 sorcerers of Sendai Colony, which is going to be very exciting. Anyway, after this episode, only one more episode remains in part 1 of Season 3. So make sure you have subscribed to episode Decode so you don't miss it. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Bye.